Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Department Podcast. Stephen Clark, Jesse Norman, Justin Valentovic here to break down this week in wrestling. But before we get into the ring, and Sarah's here too.
Sarah's making her early appearance.
Yeah, fellas, how you doing right now?
I'm chilling. Really nice Saturday, Labor Day weekend. Mm-hmm. So that's fun. Not going anywhere, but get to sit home and enjoy the end of the summer essentially, and then sit home and get ready for football then at that point.
What a weird summer it's been.
At least it flew by. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
It moved. Like we couldn't do anything really. Yeah. So at least like the quarantine clock didn't feel like it was a slog.
Yeah.
So
those first couple months were brutal.
Yeah, but we've adjusted. We got 2K, we got Madden, Call of Duty's coming down the pipe, so we're chilling now.
We're having fun. Jesse, how are you?
I'm good. Sarah did all that and then just ran back to her windowsill to sleep. So
that was definitely the earliest she's ever made an appearance.
Yeah, I agree.
She knows. She knows.
Usually, I have to try to keep her out of the frame, but she
just didn't bother this time.
There, yeah, she wasn't having it there.
Yeah, no, she wasn't. Well, hope Sarah's doing good as well. And all right, let's get outside the ring before we go inside the ring. And we want to start off with this big news that broke yesterday or a couple of days ago. That is now in WWE superstars contracts that states McMahon is banning third-party engagements for all of his WWE superstars. What do you guys think about this? I think it's ridiculous. But...
It's absolutely ridiculous because, they lock them on not going to signings or card shows outside of WWE Access and meet and greets like that. That's one thing. Fine. I guess they want to protect the brand that way. But the fact that they're trying to ban streaming or literally making money on the side from just saying, hey, what's up, on an app, that's just insane that McMahon's having them do that at that point. And it's if they're adding it to the contracts now, aren't the point of contracts once you sign them, you honor the terms there, you don't change it after the deal is made. It's one thing. It's one thing if you want to add it for future deals, but to go and place the ban on it now, it's just utterly ridiculous when you have AJ Styles, Adam Cole, who frequently stream and have relatively good followings. You would think that's good for the wrestlers and the superstars to interact with the fans, but guess Vinnie Mac sees otherwise.
Yeah, I heard it. You can't use your ring given name is one thing I'm hearing now too. That's coming out from the contract. You can use your real name, like Alan Jones, maybe, but
that's so stupid because then that's more confusing.
It is confusing
for WWE.
Yeah,
I think this is really stupid. I think anybody that's making excuses for WWE is really stupid.
Yeah.
This is a dumb thing that they are doing. They are restricting their talent even more, and it's honestly comparable to what the NCAA does to college football athletes. They're basically saying, we own you. We own your name. The only difference is those WWE guys, some of them get paid good money.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of guys are trying to avoid this or are protesting or boycotting this in their contract. They want to leave the company. Hey, leave the company then. I don't blame them if they want to leave. Honestly, it's not fair to them. It's not fair to their income, because yes, they make enough being a professional wrestler, but it's always
maybe
nice.
I mean, some of those NXT guys don't.
True, very true.
Some of those NXT guys say they only pull in $2,000 a month, period. That's
wow.
Yeah.
And the thing is too,
and they don't get benefits.
Well, that's the thing. They're independent contractors, so that's how they avoid having to pay them.
If you're an independent contractor, how the hell does the company own the name that you work under?
It makes no sense.
If you're an independent contractor.
But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone takes McMahon to court. That
is
nobody one of the wrestlers.
The problem is, even if you take McMahon to court and win, like Punk did, you still lose because McMahon has so much money and so many lawyers.
For sure.
It's sad because this is just a really crappy move by honestly a really crappy brand company.
Yeah.
The more and more that WWE does in McMahon's waning years just shows he is crazy and he only cares about profit. That is it. He does not care.
Do you think that's where it's coming from? Because whatever percentage they are making,
it's definitely coming from McMahon. Definitively, without a doubt in my mind.
Because they're trying to claim essentially copyright on the names and likenesses of the characters and not the person. When you have certain wrestlers like Samoa Joe, I know he owns the rights to Samoa Joe, the name, so that's why they're trying to pull this card on it. But it's like at the same time, what if you have wrestlers who go under their name, basically, like their birth name?
Not fair.
If WWE is really worried about the $300 a week that AJ Styles is making on Twitch and want 15% of that, they're crazy.
If they were doing something
seriously,
if they were doing something bad or like inappropriate, I understand. But they're literally playing video games and just making YouTube videos and like living their life and enjoying what they do. Like if it was like some inexplicit content, yes, I understand that. But it's not. It's literally just having fun. It's weird. It's very
and
weird.
it comes at a time that so many people are doing it. But I wonder if this is a backlash because a lot of AEW's guys are video game guys.
Could be.
Did you notice though they're not canning like up, down, down with Woods because
because they own it. They own it.
Up, so that's what they want to push.
Because that's primarily ran through YouTube. So that's why they have a cut of it. But Twitch, everyone's on their own at that point then.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It just doesn't make sense that it came out of nowhere.
It's sad. It's honestly sad. Like
it's bad. It's a bad thing that they are doing. And I seen somebody put up a tweet earlier that was like WWE and Vince McMahon is really lucky that wrestling isn't as mainstream as they want it to be. Because if people understood how slimy the WWE's contracts are, it would be over for them. I mean, the independent contractors, the claims over names, the claims of when you're injured, they don't have to give you medical attention. When CM Punk was injured, got his own personal doctor, they said, no, you use our doctor who misdiagnosed him. I mean, it's insane. And then you add in all the moral issues of the Saudi Arabia shows. And I'm going to be honest, it's getting really hard to support this company. I don't know if I want to keep watching. It's getting hard. They are getting significantly worse and worse with the way they are treating their workers. And you always know the top 5 or 6 guys always, oh no, WWE's great. Like Seth and Roman, obviously WWE's great for them. They're the stars. They're the ones that Vince cares about. The one that when they go to interviews, they're going to be, oh, we have a great group of guys. We make a lot of money. We do all this. Yeah, you do if you're the top 6 guys in a promotion. But as of right now, AEW is the way better ran place.
Oh, for sure.
If you told me you can work in WWE or AEW, I'd say give me the place that gives me medical benefits, a union, all those things. Whereas WWE, I'm an independent contractor that doesn't even own my own name unless I have it copyrighted, which then they can even try to buy it, which they tried to do with Matt Hardy.
And which they can buy because they have the money to go to court and fight over it.
And even if you had that character beforehand, they can still somehow spin it that they created it, and they'll win.
They will win because, like you said, the money and power that they have.
The only way of resolving this is obviously for wrestlers to unionize, right? But the issue
Vince won't let them.
Exactly. But the issue, the only way for it to actually get any traction is you would need a Seth, a Roman, a Brock, a Cena, an Undertaker if he was still there, even, guys who have legitimate pull and who are in the main event, because what's Vince going to do? Just fire them? That's too much.
Those are the guys that Vince cares about. They're already taken care of.
But see, that's the way of Vince preemptively squashing it because they're already getting paid.
They're the big, okay, who cares if a mid-class worker, even a good one, let's say like all of the New Day really hated this rule.
Yeah.
And was like, get rid of it or we're leaving. It makes more sense for them to just get rid of the New Day. Even though they're all good, they're not main event stars. They're not in the mainstream unless a huge, I wouldn't even say a huge guy. Even if Seth was like, hey, this is dumb, you got to change this, they still would probably just fire him. I think the only one that could make any huge pull is Roman or Cena.
Literally, that's probably
Cena's gone. Cena's gone. He's in Hollywood.
So just Roman.
And Cena's always been brainwashed into thinking WWE is the greatest place on earth.
Yeah.
Even though his first run, when they almost fired him, he takes the entire blame onto himself, even though creative did nothing for him.
Exactly. Yeah.
He literally is like, oh, it's my fault. It was my fault. It was my fault that I failed. It really wasn't, John. I mean, it wasn't.
No.
They literally gave you nothing. So there's this idea in WWE that if you work hard and you prove to Vince that you're a company guy, you eventually, make ends meet and you get paid nice and you get these nice things. But when you're working a 300-day-a-year work schedule and you're constantly being reported on, and every airplane or every airport that you go to, there's people just like there waiting for you, trying to get autographs, doing all these things. I mean, I think WWE treats their independent contractors worse than any other company does with their athletes.
Yeah, no, I think we all agree with you on that one, and it's upsetting to see this. But we'll continue with the news really quickly. I was going to touch on a couple of points, just literally just go through them because there's not much to really talk about them, but I just want to say them on the show. Morrow leaving the company. He wasn't on NXT for a couple of weeks. Guess something happened there. We don't know anything that's going on, so best to him in the future. Big Show is canceled. Good. The show was not good, so goodbye, Big Show.
It was just your basic sitcom.
It was bad.
It was bad. No. It was a bad sitcom.
Yes.
But the whole thing of it was but Big Show's
the
here.
Big Show. Yeah.
And he's tall.
Here's my problem with it. They tapped it. They put it on the wrong network. They should have put it on the WWE network. Why are you putting such a niche wrestler of the Big Show on Netflix? If it was with
I'd
John
assume
Cena,
it was because Netflix wanted it.
Netflix probably, yeah. But yeah, I get your point.
He's not the most marketable guy anymore.
No.
And he never was.
Well,
so
it was also supposed to be more of a kid show, and usually I think kids don't pay for WWE Network.
No.
So maybe that's why. That's why they put more adult things on WWE Network.
It could be.
And that's probably why they didn't put it there.
But
yeah, I watched the first 5 minutes of the first episode.
Bad.
It wasn't good.
No.
It wasn't good.
Jabroni is now in the dictionary, so that's a word I guess we can use in your SAT essays and all that. So use jabroni, kids. And lastly, quickly before we delve into the bigger last two bigger stories, The Rock, AJ Styles, and Kevin Nash all had the corona, and I believe all are recovering well from it. I haven't really heard much from Kevin Nash, but I know The Rock has no symptoms now, and he's not contagious, and AJ Styles is obviously back on television in a full role, probably going to have the title match at the Clash of Champions, but they had Rona. They're recovering, so we know another star that kept under the covers, basically, who had Rona, which was AJ Styles now, so that's what the little news. Now let's get into the last two big stories in Outside the Ring. Brock Lesnar has not signed a new contract. He is currently a free agent in the world of wrestling right now. Would you guys like to see any other wrestling promotion make a move on Brock Lesnar, or do you think Brock's just waiting it out until WWE needs him?
I mean, obviously, you would think AEW would throw the house at him if they really wanted to. Will they? Probably not. He's kind of it's like in sports terms and football terms, when a contract of a player's running out, but they're older and they're not going to go anywhere anyway. It's either they're re-signing with their current team or they're kind of not doing it anymore.
Yes.
I feel like that's kind of the current situation with Brock. I don't think he's going anywhere else. He has nothing to prove anywhere else. So at that point, he's not tied to WWE. He can come back whenever he wants, really, whenever they need him. And he's not, he doesn't have to sign it now and they say 6 months from now, all right, you're having a match here. He doesn't even need that then.
Yeah, the thing is, he's not getting paid right now, though. And
he's got more than enough money.
But you know how he is with his money, bro.
Yeah.
He likes his money. It doesn't matter if he has a little bit or a lot. He likes his money. I think AEW should try to get him, at least for a match. What a draw that would be for AEW, having Brock Lesnar on a headline pay-per-view card. I don't know. They should make a run to get him for a match at least.
I wonder then if he does say just a one-off, how much that would piss off Vince.
It would.
Would that ultimately burn the bridge for?
But Brock cares.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, would that burn the bridge then for, say, like, a year or 2 or 3 years maybe even then?
Brock's one of Vince's guys. Vince obviously believes Brock is, like, a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's why he gives him these $1 million contracts for working 6 matches.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I think AEW should probably, if they do, it should just be for 1 match.
I agree.
Because I think you're towing a line. If you throw millions of dollars at him, you're going to upset guys like Cody and the Young Bucks and all them guys who are not making that money and have, like, built the brand. So I think there's that aspect that you don't want to throw a bunch of money at a guy who's literally never worked in your company. And also him and Jericho have had problems before.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that too.
So there's that problem. I'm pretty sure he's just going to wait it out, let WWE come back to him in like 6 or 7 months with a huge offer, and then he'll just take that.
Probably. You're probably right, honestly.
They're going to wait. The ratings are probably going to dip again. And when they dip at their lowest point, Vince is probably going to try to negotiate a contract with Brock, because whenever Brock is on TV, it always bumps the ratings a little bit. But that's the other thing. He's not on TV enough to ever make it stay.
Yeah.
It's 1 to 2 week pops here. So
yeah, I agree. I think personally, morally though, he will just stay calm with Sable, chill on his farm, hang out.
He can just ride his tractor all day.
Ride his tractor all day long.
Tractor all day.
And then he'll come back for like WrestleMania or something, if we're being honest. But
if they do bring him back, please keep him out of the title picture.
That's all we ask.
Start making him do, like, he's at the point where he can just start doing those legend matches.
Yeah, like
just have him and Cena
matches.
do another match. Have him in like or even like there's so much more you can do with Brock besides just making him be like, I want the Universal title and I never want to defend it.
Well, even you could put him in a title match. Just don't give him the title. Like, run Roman and Brock again. Honestly, I'm down for this new character of Roman having the match with Brock for the title.
And then you put Heyman in the middle of it.
Exactly. And then Heyman
that's great.
Sticks with Roman, and then Brock F's off and does whatever he does everywhere
Just kidding.
else.
Brock wins. Haha.
Oh, that would be brutal. Last bit of news. It's happened around like last week, almost like right after we filmed this, so this is a little old now. But Tyson Fury. We know Tyson Fury had a match in Saudi Arabia. He called out Drew McIntyre. And WWE on Fox retweeted it, so it could be in the works.
I guess there's a Saudi show coming up soon.
There was one planned originally, but I don't know if that's continuing because of all the travel bans and all that.
But I'm just saying, like, this is a thing they would cross over for a Saudi show. Like, that's the weird part of it.
It is.
That there's none of it planned. You would assume there's none of them coming up just because of, COVID.
Yeah.
Could we legitimately see this at, like, Clash of Champions then?
No, because we have a match for Clash.
Yeah, right.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but
I just don't get what they're doing with it.
I think it's possible to happen at like they still run like a Crown Jewel-esque show, but not in Saudi, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they could always just go to Fight Island that UFC uses.
But they have to go to Saudi. Like that's the contract.
And people didn't want to go to Saudi. They didn't want to go to Saudi before. They're not going to obviously want to go now in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just put that out there. Nothing's official, but Fury called out McIntyre. McIntyre responded.
It just came out of nowhere.
It came literally out of left field.
The weird part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it did. That's why I was kind of like, maybe Fury was just like sitting there watching Raw one night and was just like,
balls or something.
That's a big man right there. That's a big man.
I wouldn't complain about seeing Tyson Fury's entrance again because that was really cool.
Don't be for the title. Don't do a title match.
If it's a one-off, I'm okay with the one-off.
But if they're announcing like 2-3 months ahead of time that it's going to be like a title match,
I don't want that.
Then Orton's not going to get a shot. Keith Lee's not going to get a shot because they're already planning this McIntyre Fury.
Yeah,
you can run McIntyre Fury without the belt. You don't need the belt on it at all.
You're right. All right. That does it for Outside the Ring.
Does it, Clark?
Oh,
You're forgetting something. 2 guys got released.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're right. I always forget something. Authors of Pain got released yesterday. The injury-prone, bad booking monsters got released. It's sad to see them go under these circumstances. They were a beast in NXT. I have no words just because it's on both sides on this part, actually. You can't obviously help injuries, but the booking was never there for them ever since they got called up. And there's Sarah's, but
well, and it's obvious that, again, WWE could not care less about tag teams right now. Especially
you're right.
Especially since New Day isn't even available right now. They really has Cesaro and
No,
Shinsuke done.
They haven't defended it.
I was gonna say done anything.
They were
Like,
just literally backstage on SmackDown with the titles.
That's what they've been doing.
Yeah, like honestly, the best tag team champions like the last this whole pandemic has been the women's tag team championships. They have been.
And even then, that they didn't necessarily defend them that much. That's just because Bayley and Sasha were so good.
I hope this current reign that's going on with Baszler and Jax kind of continues the defending kind of role because they just did it last night on SmackDown, and I hope that continues a little bit. But anyways, AOP gone. Sad to see him go, but hopefully
It was
they get a
bound to
job
happen.
somewhere else.
They'll be a great fit in AEW if they go.
I'm hearing Japan.
Japan would also work.
I think Japan would be cool.
They have that Japan look to them.
I was thinking the same thing.
Big beefy men.
Oh,
beef. And they get to work again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There is a direct correlation to working less house shows and working less shows and injuries.
Yep,
there is a clear cut thing where you can see it.
For sure.
It's not just a theory at this point. And obviously, if you're working 300 days a week and your body is breaking down, it's gonna break. It's gonna break eventually.
Yeah,
and that's what happened to AOP all the time because every time before they were about to bring them back, they would ramp them up on the house show and have them do house shows like 4 days a week before they brought them back on TV.
Yep. Well, that does it for Outside the Ring. Let's get inside the ring and start with Monday Night on Raw. We found out towards the beginning of the show that Clash of Champions, known as the Gold Rush, every championship is on the line. Let's see if they stick with that. I hope they do, because that's a lot of titles they have in this main roster right now. A lot of feuds.
What titles maybe go to the kickoff?
I would say you would probably put one of the mid-card belts.
Tags, probably SmackDown tag.
I'd say whichever shows tag belts are on it, the opposite show's mid-card belt will also be on it with them.
I hope that the IC belt is on a pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. They're building up to a nice little triple threat coming up, it looks like. But we'll get to that way in SmackDown. But they said every title's on the line at the show, so I better see, besides NXT and NXT UK, I better see every Raw and SmackDown championship on the line there.
So that's almost 10 matches then.
I think every match has. I don't see any feud matches for
there can't be
on the card.
No,
maybe that's the kickoff if we're being honest. If they want to run something like that,
Alistair KO or the
Alistair
dropping
KO.
that.
That makes sense.
I would
Kickoff
put
Kevin.
I'd even put that on the back burner.
Kickoff Kevin.
You should coin that for his shirt.
It's his Twitter name. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
I think it's literally his Twitter name. It's Kickoff KO.
Oh man,
he's embracing it because he's probably fed up too. But that's another story. All right. We heard in the beginning of the show too that there'll be 3 triple threat matches throughout the night, three regular matches throughout the night, which will lead to a triple threat at the end of the show to see who will face Drew McIntyre at Clash. The 3 matches were Keith Lee versus Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins versus Dominic, and Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. The winners of those matches, we'll get to that right now, Keith Lee, Seth Rollins, and Randy Orton. And Randy Orton won this match, which was kind of expected, I would say. These were the 3 that you kind of thought were going to win their individual matches, and Orton was kind of expected. We're getting McIntyre and Orton again, which I think is needed. It's needed. It needs another match. Do you guys like this? I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, yeah. I like the setup. I really do. It makes sense. Yeah, if you win your match and then you win another match, I like that. Don't just, declare number 1 contenders.
Yeah.
Because it would have been super easy for them to just been like, yup, it's Randy Orton again.
Yeah, well, Orton the week before said he's getting another title match. Like, he said it, but I guess they made him earn it this week, which is kind of cool. That's why you need an authority figure. That's why, for these
none
moments
of
like this.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I like we get to see Orton and McIntyre again. Might be most likely the main event, looking at what the SmackDown title match is.
And, of course, with, like, the prelim matches, they let Dolph sniff a title opportunity relatively close for no reason.
Yeah.
Just to throw him near it.
And Keith Lee didn't take the pin, so all the internet virgin marks couldn't complain about Keith Lee getting buried. So that's another positive. But it was great. I got through the biggest part of Raw right there. But there's also little stories in between. I'm not touching on everything. I'm just going to touch on the little story that were in between. And the first one I want to talk about is who is ready for Asuka. That was her old catchphrase. We know that Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion, and it looks like they're building to Asuka and Mickie James, and Lana and Natalya came out. What are we getting here? Are we getting Asuka and Mickie James? What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
I hope we get Asuka and Mickie James. That'd be a great match.
I think it's fine too, but I don't want Natalya and Lana involved in this at all.
No, not at all. Don't touch it.
No, and they're touching it. They're touching it all right.
When you took Jax and paired her with Baszler, you took two then legitimate contenders out of the singles run then. And now you're kind of left with the leftovers.
And let's not forget that Becky and Charlotte also aren't there too.
And Bayley and Sasha are on SmackDown exclusively.
So the women's division definitely took a hit now, and it's definitely taken a step back.
Yeah.
If you put Lana in a match with Asuka, that's going to be a 10-second squash match. Natalya can give you 5 minutes of decent maybe, but like Mickie James, just give her one at this point.
Yeah. Didn't Mickie James wrestle Asuka before? Wasn't that her return match?
I think so.
Return match at TakeOver?
She had something like that.
Probably.
I think it was TakeOver Dallas, but I'll look it up really quickly.
I don't understand how Mickie James is like such a legend. Like when I think of like the Divas era of WWE, I think Trish Stratus, Lita, and then immediately after I think Mickie James.
They don't give her enough respect.
They don't give Mickie James any respect.
Yes, it was TakeOver Toronto. It was Mickie James versus Asuka. So call back to that.
She is one of. They're never going to mention that. She's one of the best performers that WWE had in a period where they didn't have good performers. And then they even treated her so bad that they gave her the gimmick with Lay Cool where they just called her fat.
They called her Piggy James. It was disgusting. It was disgusting.
And then she left to go to Impact, had a great run there, surprise, surprise, and then came back. And they, again, didn't treat it like it was a big deal.
No.
I just don't get the hate for Mickie James, considering she's a Hall of Famer. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, she carried a division before the Bellas got there and revolutionized it.
I feel like a lot of women from that era that were kind of like pioneers don't get enough of credit, too.
Melina,
Michelle McCool, Beth Phoenix, they all don't get enough credit for what they did and what they weren't given anything, and they were able to succeed with what they were given. And it's really sad again to see that.
I think it's because they don't want to bring up the Divas era, because for every Michelle McCool you have, I mean, Eva Marie's a bad choice because obviously she wasn't there, but Eve Torres, Eve wasn't that great.
Even Maria during her time then too.
There's Maria was a backstage person that they tried to
Kelly, Jillian, all these people
who, but like
Ashley Massaro, rest in peace, but
they still had like wrestlers that were capable, obviously, and they still just don't talk about it, and it's so weird. I don't know. You would think with such a big focus on the women's wrestling and everything that you would try to do this kind of Legends thing. Like when Michelle McCool came back at the Royal Rumble either last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember which one. She went on a run where she eliminated like 5 people. Which looked great. And then they just like never talked about it again.
Ridiculous. But that's with Asuka and Mickie James. Hopefully we get that match. It would be nice for Mickie James to get a Spotlight Raw Women's title match, but I don't know what they're to do, honestly. Quickly before we get into the last thing, Retribution, they showed up, whatever. I'm on Jesse's side now.
I don't care anymore. I really don't
care.
They ruined it. They ruined it. It was cool the first 2 weeks, and now it's just they're attacking the tag division now, and like
we've been going on 6 weeks at this point, right?
What do they want?
Yeah, it's been a while, Justin. They want Retribution apparently because
like, do they want to throw them off the air? Do they want to like attack people? Do they want to like take what? I don't. First, they targeted the production trucks. Then they started tearing up the ring, and then now they're just attacking the tag division. Braun already can do that. We already have Braun for bearing the tag division.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk. That's it. I want nothing more Retribution. That's enough. I'm not mentioning them again on this show until they do something noteworthy, like revealing a member or something noteworthy. So they're done from the Department podcast.
See you at Rumble time then.
I'll see you at Rumble time then. All right. Let's do the last thing on Raw. Probably almost the biggest story on Raw. We were talking about singles, competitors, and all that, and a little bit of tag teams, but a tag team has split up on Raw, and that is the Iconics. They were in a match against the Riot Squad where the loser had to disband their team, and what the hell, the Iconics are split.
Why? Like, just why?
Allegedly, they have plans for Peyton Royce.
We'll get to that in SmackDown because there was a little vignette, but
just why?
I don't think that's connected. I think that's different.
I think it's different too. There's about like 5 different people I'm hearing right now.
Yeah.
And I think Jesse mentioned one of them.
Yeah.
A little bit ago.
I did.
Yeah. Which is.
I don't think it's her. I don't think it is.
I hope it's not her.
But apparently
it's not her either.
Apparently they have
that's Eva Marie we're talking about there. We hope it's not her.
They have plans for Peyton Royce, I guess, for like a singles run. Well, if they're giving her a singles run, it's got to be on Raw because Raw after this Mickie James match, they have nothing. They have. I mean, I guess they could run Natalya with Lana as her manager, but that's not interesting.
And then they had Peyton kind of like throw Billie Kay into Raw Underground.
Yep, I think they're kind of writing Billie Kay off.
I think they're writing her off too.
I think Billie's done, and Peyton Royce is the one moving forward.
I thought
they've been a tag team for like 13 years or something. They said,
yeah, they were friends when they were teenagers.
They're best friends.
If they're gonna like keep Billie around, just send her down to NXT.
I thought it would be Peyton that would be the one leaving the Billie to NXT is fine, but I thought Peyton would be the one leaving.
Peyton's better in the ring.
She is, but
and
wouldn't she? Maybe I thought maybe she wanted to be with Shawn Spears, maybe in AEW, but
if you wanted to do a Peyton singles run,
just
have Billie be the manager.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just do that. That's not a hard story.
They're gonna lose out on so much merch now.
You have a point there, Jesse. They might still do that. They're not a team, but she's the manager.
I don't think. Well, that's the thing. I don't think they're going to, as evident by her throwing her into Raw Underground. I think. Well, and she put out an emotional thing on Instagram and everything, but most people already said that was not WWE. That was her doing that because she's
it's her friend. It's her friend.
It's her friend and person she's been a tag team partner with. And just think they're gonna break them up just to have Peyton Royce have one singles run and not do anything.
It's ridiculous.
And they already don't have women's tag teams. They're putting together Natalya and Lana. You already have a tag team there. They're already really good.
They really started building up teams just to disband 2 this week, if we're being honest.
Basically.
Yeah, but.
They disbanded the best 2.
Literally the top 2.
The best 2.
The top 2, the only 2, they disbanded them. But
the only ones that worked.
I guess with this match, though, if you couldn't change anything about it, if it was you had to disband one, I guess storyline-wise you had to do the Iconics. Just because they just did this whole story with the Riot Squad getting back together and all that. And it would be even...
Getting back together with one less member. And dropping the livery package.
Well, she's pregnant and fired the other one, so you can't help that.
She's pregnant and fired.
On a farm.
Oh, my God. What a mess Raw is. Holy crap. Thank God SmackDown and NXT this week, but...
Remember when they fired Heyman? And, they thought Heyman was, the problem?
Apparently it wasn't.
Raw has been so bad since Heyman left. It's borderline unwatchable. Besides, the main event stuff is good. That's fine. but the main event stuff only makes up so much of the show.
Yeah.
That's 30 minutes.
Everything lower than the main event
Hard to
just
watch.
feels so terrible. The United States Championship, I would pay you money to never watch anything go on with the U.S. Championship.
I like the Hurt Business, but we're going to stop right there for this little bit. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get into NXT Super Tuesday and Friday Night SmackDown. Stay tuned. Justin eats his sandwich. We are back on the Department Podcast. Let's get it right into NXT. It was an odd episode of NXT this week. First of all, it was on Tuesday. We had to remember that. I barely did. I know Justin didn't remember at all.
Thank God for the text alert from Clark.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would not have been watching it.
Yeah. But it was let's go first hour first. Not much happened except for the first match. We got a 6-man tornado tag street fight between Isaiah Swerve Scott, Breezango, and versing Legado del Fantasma. And wow, this was really good. It was a really good fight. And I'm a fan of these 6 guys being all together in the ring. I think they're going to do a winner take all soon. Because Santos Escobar has the Cruiserweight title and Breezango has a tag title. There's pieces missing on each side of the team.
Yeah.
I think give it another week or two, probably 2 weeks from now, they're going to do winner take all. And I think that could be fun.
I like that. That sounds good.
It does sound good, right?
And NXT does it better than
NXT
anybody, so that's why.
NXT has some competition now with doing stuff better with SmackDown, but we'll get there. But NXT's still the top. We know NXT's still the top. NXT's the best. And last thing in the first hour, they're just setting up a steel cage match for this week's NXT, which is Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez in a steel cage match, probably main eventing the show. So that's going to be fun. They're adding really high quality matches on these NXT shows, which is fun. And
the finals between the overtime, essentially between Cole and Finn, and then the cage match. It's that's a legitimate takeover card.
Isn't it another? It's another Tuesday.
It's another Tuesday because of
Is that
they
official?
called it Special Tuesday Part 2 or something.
It's Super Tuesday Part 2.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Tuesday until the playoffs are off.
Playoffs
Yeah. So, but like you said, Justin, there were 2 winners, 2 Ironmans in the hour-long Iron Man match for the NXT title, which is Cole and Balor, and it was long. Obviously, this match was long. Watching an hour-long wrestling match, it was long. It started really slow. What do you expect for an hour, though? But it did pick up at the end. A lot of pinfalls happened at the end. What did you guys like, and what did you guys not like about this hour-long match?
I had a feeling they were going to do a stalemate finish of some sort.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, it was 45 minutes. Wasn't it all 1-1-1-1 almost? They were all tied at 1 for the longest freaking time. So they were either going to do a 4-way stalemate or say one person's just scrambling for the last pinfall just to get the edge on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we saw a little bit.
Yeah.
But, the pacing, you have 4 guys in an hour-long match. You need to start out slow or you can't go balls in the whole time.
Especially 2 of those guys who have a history of arm problems and neck problems, a lot of injury prone kind of guys in that match too. So you have to take it easy. They did start slow, but like I said,
I did think they kicked it up by around the 20-minute mark though.
They did. It was kind of like a roller coaster. It went up and down here and there, but then the last, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes were insane.
Yeah. So my one critique of this match setup is if a guy takes a pin, why is his score not affected? Because, technically Tommaso should have won because he was never pinned. And he got a pin.
I think that's just how it's
I feel like in a multi-man Iron Man match, if you're pinned, you should lose a point.
I like that. I just don't think they ever did that.
They've never done it. As far as I could tell, and commentary said this too. They've never done this in WWE.
A multi-man
so
Iron Man.
It just makes sense to me rules wise that, like, shouldn't you kind of be penalized for getting pinned?
So if you're the first person to get pinned, you're at -1 then?
No, I would keep it at 0.
Keep it at
but
0?
But if
Okay.
you're at, like, 2 or 3 and you get pinned, I would have it
Down
go
a point.
down.
Okay,
Because
I like
That'd
that.
be devastating.
I
then.
can't remember
Yeah.
exactly who it was. I think somebody ate, like 2 or 3 of the pins.
It might have been Cole ate a few. I'm pretty sure Cole ate
I
a few.
think it was Cole, and Cole's in the
And Cole, yeah,
Cole's
advanced.
in there, which,
Yeah.
like, is fine with me, but, I mean, he ate, like, 2 or 3 pins, and Tommaso didn't get pinned at all.
No,
So it's
I
kind
like
of a
that. I
thing.
do like that, yeah. But it was good. It's good to see Tommaso being fully healed again. We saw that the week prior. He's fully healed. Gargano's doing great in his role. Cole just, lounging around doing his thing. And Finn Balor, obviously, doing really good as well. Give me a prediction, guys. Who do you think's coming away with the title next week?
I think it's Finn.
Balor.
All saying Finn again. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it should have been Finn
From the start.
regardless.
I was either Finn or Ciampa, but now that it's down to these two, it has to be Finn, unless they're going to swerve us somehow. And
Give Cole another year-long reign.
Oof.
I love Cole, but I hope not.
It's all been done already. Balor's the only guy that you give the title to, and there's a new thing to it. There's nobody left for Cole to fight.
No. But
which is also why he needs to get called up.
So then, what are they going to do with Gargano and Ciampa now out of this?
Ciampa can go for the North American title, if we're being honest. I wouldn't mind seeing Ciampa take a little step down. Gargano can feud with, I don't know, anyone, honestly. The debuting guy. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard because they're another two that have done a lot. They've
pretty much worked with everybody that they could and done pretty much every program. But you don't want to move them up to the main roster because it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think
Johnny
one of them
should go to the cruiserweight division, honestly. We've been talking about that for a while, and he's still hasn't done it.
Who? Which one? Johnny?
Gargano.
Johnny.
Yeah, because the cruiserweight's kind of getting more like exposure on NXT, so I wouldn't mind that at all. But there's guys they can feud with, say, like Drake Maverick, maybe a returning Dexter Loomis, people like that. Kushida hasn't been around. Is Kushida in the country?
I would assume not because he hasn't been there.
He hasn't been on TV.
Kushida's another one that, like, they brought him in and hyped him up, and like people were excited. And he's been in NXT for a while now, and he doesn't even have a takeover match really that I can think of.
I think it's just bad timing with everything, honestly.
Yeah.
With Kushida. Granted, he's been up for a little while now.
He was there well before the pandemic.
Yeah, I guess. Now you have a point.
Well, that's the problem when you have Ciampa and Gargano still there kind of lingering, because don't get me wrong, I like both of them.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of guaranteeing them a takeover match, like every takeover, and you're only running 5 or 6 takeover matches, and the other ones are the belts, you're kind of you're running out of people to put on.
For sure.
So,
but there's not many other people, maybe Dream or something, or Timothy Thatcher to feud with, but there's not too many other people for them to feud with. So I don't really know what they're going to do next. Honestly, it's big question mark, big question mark. But that's NXT, not much, obviously. It was just literally an hour-long match and a couple segments before that. But
so
that's NXT.
Could we very well see then just a 2-match show like this week coming up almost?
I think you start off with one of them. Probably a steel cage you probably start off with. And then obviously you end with the title match. Or vice versa, too. You never know. Start off with the title match. Who cares? Honest, but one to be 1 hour, one to be the rest. There'll be some filler in between. Bronson Reed, whatever.
Yeah, we'll probably get like 2 filler matches essentially, but just nothing major.
Which is fine. And then we'll see what they bring the next week. I don't know if it's on Tuesday again the week after, but we'll see what they bring the next week. We know they're gonna bring it. You know NXT though. They're gonna find something to do with everybody. SmackDown. Let's get into some Friday Night SmackDown action. SmackDown has been the hot show the last month or so. This show has been insane, from the writing to the matches to the story to the everything. Praise to SmackDown. Praise Bruce Pritchard. He's been doing a phenomenal job. I don't know if they hired new writers. They're doing a phenomenal job as well. But show starts with the big dog Roman Reigns and coming out with his special counsel Paul Heyman. That's the name. He's not going by advocate anymore. I guess he's not an advocate. He's a special counsel.
Because maybe, Roman can talk for himself, so that's why he needs almost an advisor then.
Yeah. I guess that works. And, Heyman cut a hell of a promo on SmackDown, and Roman said a couple words. It wasn't just the Brock situation where he stood there. Roman did say a couple words after, and Roman's calling it his island now, going back to his Samoan roots and not his yard. So that's a nice little touch.
They're setting up the bloodline group.
They're setting it up. They are.
I said it.
Jay Norms did said it, and it kind of, almost solidified it this week on SmackDown.
WWE, you can hire me. I know you're like a really bad company for wrestlers,
but I'm
sure producers, they probably make pretty good money.
Right? Like, that would put all my worries away. Just getting hired by a nice company like that. Not a nice company, but let me stop.
A well-paying company.
A well-paid company. Yes, there you go. A worldwide. Maybe they'll even
give me benefits. Unlikely.
Yeah, very. But after that little promo, it was announced that a Fatal 4-Way will happen later in the show between Sheamus, Matt Riddle, King Corbin, and Big E. But as we see later backstage, Big E gets attacked by Sheamus, and there will be a replacement.
Thank God Retribution didn't take him out.
Oh, thank God. It's right. It was Sheamus. But let's just get right to that first, just like I did with Raw. Get right to the main event. Then I'll do a little
work our way back.
We'll work our way back because this is the most important. We find out that Jey Uso. All right, at least I know which one now because there's only one around right now. Jey Uso, replaced Big E in the match, and it was a stellar match. Holy crap, stellar match! Oops, start to finish.
What'd you drop?
It's like my little draw right here.
It has a door that opens up.
Yeah, it opens up, and then I just kind of slammed. But anyways, Jey Uso wins. He's advancing to the match with Roman Reigns at Clash for the Universal title. And I'll let you guys give your opinions on this first, but I think this can go only one of two ways.
I don't think we see a legitimate match.
Okay.
I think I'm not saying it's finger poke of doom, but if they go the route of, putting the Usos together with Roman, this would kind of be the way of them having, say, a half-hearted type of match almost.
Yeah.
Rolling over and laying down for him type of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think they can only go two ways here. It's basically, I would go finger poke of doom, Usos join Heyman and Roman, or Roman just obliterates him and cements this heel character as doesn't care about his brothers anymore. He's just all business, all just his new shirt was show up and win his new shirt. That's all he's doing, and just obliterates the Uso.
Either outcome will get him tremendous heat, though, which would be great.
And it'd be fantastic because this is great. I love this Roman. People have been asking for this Roman for a long time, and we got it. But I'm kind of glad crowds aren't there right now because they would be cheering the hell out of Roman right now. But
which outcome would you rather have? Annihilation or the Fix is in?
Fix is in. Give me a Roman faction. I said it before. Give me a Roman faction. I want the faction
if Tamina's in it as well. Get
Tamina out of here.
Get Tamina in the faction.
I can't wait till they repackage them as the Wild Samoans 2.0.
No. I'd probably like the Bloodline kind of faction together. I wouldn't mind if he obliterates his cousin. I would not mind that at all. But I kind of, I don't mind it.
I would love if they had the Bloodlines faction thing and, they run for, let's say, 3-4 months or whatever until, Mania time and, Rumble and everything. Mm-hmm. And then the New Day fully come back. And that's your New Day versus Bloodline.
That's how you could naturally just put the belt on Big E then.
E, exactly.
And the tag belts.
Just like I said with the NXT with the 6 guys, have a winner take all with that too, eventually down the line. Hell, that's your Mania match right there, for being honest.
I would love do a kind of modified elimination chamber of 3 on 3 in there. But it's randomized, so
you can have 2 guys from each.
It's almost like War Games then within the pod.
Exactly. Yep. I would love that.
Oh,
See,
man.
again, hire me, Doug. Like, come on.
Hire.
That's so good. New Day versus the Bloodlines? That's perfect. The
I'm
biggest
with it.
question is if Xavier could be back.
Yeah, that is a big question, actually. You're right. But we'll get to that when that comes. Let's just go back in time a little bit in SmackDown now. We had a little Firefly Funhouse segment, and Mr. Bray Wyatt said there's going to be a new friend joining the Funhouse next week. All fingers are pointing to Alexa Bliss, but last time Bray did this, he just brought in another puppet or whatever. He brought
could be
in
an Alexa puppet.
It could be. All fingers point to Alexa. Alexa's embracing this crazier character right now.
Did you see her moment on Talking Smack afterwards, where they asked her how you doing, and she just awkwardly paused and stared at Woods for about 15 seconds, and it's like, I'm doing good, you're good, and she just walked off.
Yeah,
I would love if the new character or whatever was a redone Abby the Witch, but it's Alexa the Witch.
I'm with it.
Have her in the pigtails and stuff.
Yeah. And the dress and all that.
Or have the Alexa puppet dress up the Abigail puppet. And then the Abigail puppet's I hate this. And Alexa's you'll love it. Get used to it.
Yeah, something. It has to be Alexa, though. It has to be something to do with Alexa. Because we even saw backstage on SmackDown that she was acting a little crazy. She asked Nikki Cross for forgiveness. Bray likes to ask all that stuff, too, in his funhouse. Do you forgive me? All that nonsense.
I saw a thing on
you guys forgive me, right?
I saw a thing on Twitter when they cut away, when Alexa walked away from Nikki Cross, the rabbit is in the background.
It was in the background, like they used to do before Bray made his debut and all that. The puppets were in the background. Correct. You are correct. But yeah, gotta be Alexa.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. No. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're Alexa.
It lit up. But it has to be. Let's stick with the women's division for a second. We had a rematch for the women's tag team titles on SmackDown. We had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending their newly won titles against Bayley and Sasha Banks. And this match wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed it. It was very good to see Baszler and Jax kind of working together right now and all that. But in the end, Nia did a top rope dive. Never thought I'd see that, and pinned both of them in the middle of the ring to keep the titles. And Sasha was acting all hurt in the ring, and Bayley basically just beats the crap out of her. And this was, we didn't want it to happen, but it happened. Did you guys like the way they did this with the heel turn, or kind of face turn for Sasha? I guess because it wasn't a heel turn.
You can't really turn heel if you're in your ass kicked.
So it's a face turn for Sasha, I guess.
Yeah, they're really worried about keeping Bayley heel.
Which I think is the smarter move.
Yeah, you guys like that better than vice versa, or the way they did it? Give me your opinions.
Normally Bayley is the better face and Sasha is the better heel. But with this run, I think you have to keep Bayley as the heel. But that being said, I wish Sasha could go to Raw where she could be a heel. The only time she's been a heel is in this run with Bayley. Since she's moved up to the main roster, they have completely kept her as a face. And she's okay as a face. Yeah. But she's not. She's on another level when she's a heel.
Yeah. I like Bayley as a heel. And they've done really well the last year with it, so I'm okay with them keeping her as a heel. But like you said, yeah, I agree with your points exactly with everything else. But
I wonder what the blow-off match is. Is it Hell in a Cell?
Oh, cell match. I think you keep Sasha off of television for a couple
that's
months
the thing.
Now.
They're tweeting it out like she's going to an ICU, specialist,
good.
So that's good because then you won't have it at Clash then, because then it's automatically a title match then. So at least that's out of the window.
Yeah.
Sasha should come back at Clash and cost her
the
belt.
Because then that could naturally set up a cell match then.
Yep.
But I kind of want the cell match
Banks
to be...
doesn't get hurt.
I kind of want the cell match to be for the title, though, in a way.
See, I feel that, but also it doesn't necessarily need the title.
I think it does.
I think it can be, their whole story has been about the belts, but for Banks also, she always kept saying about how it was their friendship. Yeah. And then Bayley can be like, it was always about the belts for me.
That is a good point, but even like the last couple of weeks when Sasha didn't have her Raw Women's title, every time they made their entrance, Sasha was making eye contact with that championship that Bayley was holding in her hands or on her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha was always looking at that title. So I think I like your point with that it doesn't need the title, but I also can counter it saying I think it does because that's their whole thing. They were happy to have both belts. Sasha two straps and Bayley dos straps, whatever the hell they were calling themselves.
Names.
I love them.
They
were
so
incredible. They were so good. They were incredible. Everything Bayley and Sasha did was so good.
Oh, it was. But besides the point, I think it does. But it also could. It's just how good they are together. They don't need the belt as well. It could go either way. But that's with that being said on that. Lastly, there was a little vignette that was stirring up some rumors on the internet of, I'm assuming, you never know, I'm assuming a female in high heels.
It's either a debut, a re-debut, or a return.
I'm hearing like 5 different names. I'm hearing Eva Marie. I'm hearing Peyton Royce. I'm hearing Lacey Evans. I'm hearing Dana Brooke. And I'm hearing a returning Melina. Like, I'm just hearing.
I wish it was Melina.
I'm just hearing a bunch of. Imagine Melina comes to manage Miz and Morrison.
Oh, I would love that. That'd be good.
That'd be nice.
Or if she comes back and breaks up Miz and Morrison, and then Morrison does a singles run.
His own thing, yeah.
And that can bring Taya to WWE, maybe. You never know.
That'd be cool. I hope this isn't something that like the Liv Morgan stuff.
It just falls flat and
where they do it for like 1 week and then they're like, this didn't really get over as much as we wanted it to. Punt.
I feel like SmackDown's been different lately, though. I feel like they have something brewing just because of how good SmackDown has been.
Yes, but still.
There's always that factor.
I mean, and we can name, there's multiple people they've done that with. Liv Morgan, Emelina. That was bad. Terrible.
It was bad.
It was, so we'll see. I hope it's good. I hope it's a wrestler. I hope it's a wrestler.
Oh, that just crossed my mind something now too. I just saw an interview like Chris Van Vliet did with the girl who's been on Angel Garza's arm and Ivar's arm, Demi Burnett from The Bachelor, saying she wants to get in the ring.
Oh. No celebrities. But then you see too that Eva Marie's like, yeah, I would come back. That's my home. So it's like it's the perfect whirlwind of the doors opening up for it to line up.
No thanks.
Oh, I agree.
No, thank you. If I had to pick one, I would obviously go Melina.
Yeah, best case scenario, Melina. Worst case scenario, Eva Marie.
Everyone else, if it's a re-debut, yeah. Yeah. If it's a re-debut, cool.
Who would they re-debut?
I'm hearing Lacey and Dana Brooke as like re-debuts. And Carmella too, another one. Carmella was another one.
Oh, Carmella would probably make the most sense, honestly.
Give like Carmella
women's champion.
Yeah, give Carmella like that, like kind of Sasha Banks gimmick in a way, like the bougie boss kind of. Like I feel like Carmella can run with that a little more than whatever the hell she was doing. Nothing basically.
Queen of Staten Island.
Oh, that was funny though. Carmella. Paul Heyman mentioned her on his promo because he was like oh, Cole and Graves can tell you about the upcoming match. But he didn't mention him as Cole and Graves. He was like it's one announcer and Carmella's latest boyfriend or something. It was like a quick little jab. I mean, it was funny. I'm excited though. It keeps me intrigued. SmackDown as a whole, can't give it enough praise. Very, very, very good. Any last words on This Week in Wrestling?
Nah, I'm good.
I'm good. Looking forward to NXT.
And we didn't touch on this, but AEW has a pay-per-view tonight.
I've checked out.
We don't follow AEW too much. We don't dislike the programming.
I just don't watch it.
Just don't watch it.
When there's too many sports going on now, between basketball, baseball, football starting, even hockey, I keep tabs on. It's like there's just too much to watch now. So maybe when it's the off season of baseball, hockey, and basketball, I might flip to it.
Yeah, I get
Especially
that.
since it's on Wednesdays, and that's like the one night football's not on.
Yeah, then
Basically.
I'd honestly prefer to watch NXT over that too. That's just my personal bias, but I don't dislike AEW. I'm happy for them. They're doing their own thing. Good for them. Moxley versus MJF title match. Hopefully MJF wins. Not going to happen, but we don't need to talk about that, honestly. Let's just wrap this up right now. And I'll do that because thank you for listening to the Department Podcast. You know what to do. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on Spotify. Leave a comment. Give us a 5-star review. Tell us your favorite part of the show. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Department_pod. Can't thank you guys enough for listening. Thank you for 30 subscribers. We're only going up from here. We'll see you in the next episode.